Okay, this is a picture from the tomb of Huy, who was a ruler of Nubia, or the Kushites, under King Tutankamun. And they've done restoration onto it, cleaned it up, and they're now allowing the public to go into it. There are a lot of these places that up until recently really weren't available, no matter how much money you tried to throw at them. But there has been quite a few opened up since Zahiwas is no longer in charge of that part of the ordeal. And so we are getting to see a lot more of these tombs. This opened up December of last year, so got a good year into it, but not too many people with what's going on probably have gotten to see this. This is the tomb of Huy. He's a ruler of Nubia under Tutankhamun, and it was open to the public. The tomb of Amenhotep Huy, ruler of Lower Nubia, Kush, under King Tutankhamun, is to be opened to the public for the first time following extensive restorations. The tomb is famous for its spectacular wall paintings. Indeed, he apparently was hooked up with some of the scribes and things that really did this, because he's one of the nobility that has tombs with paintings, at least, not in size and scope, but paintings at least that are of caliber of the best that are in many other tombs that you see, and of course pharaohs. Now, Amenhotep, called Huy, was a viceroy of Nubia. The Lower Nubian Kush was a province of Egypt from at least the 16th century BC to 11th century BC. During this period, it was ruled over by a viceroy who reported directly to the Egyptian pharaohs. So they had viceroys running it. They were the rulers of Kush. The viceroy was appointed directly by the Egyptian king and usually bore the titles Overseer of the Southern Lands and King's Son of Kush. It is believed that the Egyptian 25th dynasty were descendants of these viceroys, and so were the dynasties that ruled independent Kush until the 4th century AD. So, whenever we talk about the 25th dynasty, whenever the Kushites took over for a mere 90 years or so, and then the Assyrians kicked them back out and things got put back in place a little bit, it's kind of strange whenever they keep claiming things about who was ruling Egypt at that time. It wasn't these people. In fact, we can look at the picture here, and if you, let me get my little pointer here so I can do this. If you'll look, this is the procession bringing stuff in. Now, at this time, they had a decree that no Nubians were allowed in Egypt whatsoever from way back. There are steles, such as the Semne stele of Sensuret III, along with many others that show you this fact. They aren't allowed past He. But then again, Huy would have been up in that area ruling that. So whenever it shows them bringing gifts to the Pharaoh and doing things, that would have been done up there pretty much. And so he might have been witness to it, and it's one of the processions that they show. This is the back half of the procession of the first half of the picture we were looking at as it started. You can see they're being brought in on an Egyptian chariot, but it's being pulled by a cow, a blotchy cow, not a white one, but a blotchy cow. And you can see that they're the Nubians, but they're being escorted in by the Egyptians, which you see this man here, who is a redhead. Now they're shown in red ochre symbology, of course, with the skin being somewhat tanned, like I am. And the women are drawn pale because they keep their women pale. They don't have to work so hard anymore. They've got the crap figured out. And so they're being brought in by them and being led in by this cow and stopping it here in the procession. And you can see this one is blonde. Those are the Egyptians. Huy was the son of a lady named Werner, like Werner von Braun. His father's not known, but Huy was married to Tamwadzi. She's chief of the harem of Amun and the harem of Nebuchadnezzar, which is Tutankhamun. They had a son named Passer. Huy succeeded the viceroy of Tutmosis, who served under Pharaoh Akhenaten. So we talked recently and showed the videos of how they figured out that family lineage was R1b, which is, of course, European. And years ago, there was a deal done, of course, with King Tut, and they got to see the footage and the information off of a video that was made that Zahi Hawass had said that he was going to kind of tell everybody, and then he didn't tell everybody what King Tut's actual genetics were. Well, the people that worked with that worked with the other mummies too, and found out, yeah, and it was them trying to find out lineages and make sure and who the younger lady was and who's this and who's that, and in doing so, and the genetics that came out of it, they're like, well, this is this one's parents and there's grandparents of Thuya and Yuya and so on. So a bunch of blonde-haired mummies right in there too. Thuya and Yuya are both blonde. Yeah, they've got Queen Tai with burgundy hair and so on too. Huy ruled under Tutankamun, this land of Kush, and would have been responsible for organizing construction on Tutankhamun's behalf, as well as being responsible for military operations in the region of Nubia, if needed to be. The viceroy would be tribute personally to the pharaoh and that they served under, so they had to go and meet with him quite constantly and so on, and it makes good sense. In fact, here's a picture of Tutankhamun being praised and led up by Huy here and his presence. And his ruling crook is seen in his hand here. Tut's got one too, of course, but he also has the Ankh of Life in his hand. And if you look at the bottom on the stanza that he's sitting upon, there are all these griffins right here. And that symbology is from Proto-Indo-Europeans, by the way, and goes into the Wayback Machine. I've done far too many videos about it to go off on it now. The tomb of Amenhotep Huy, which is located at Quirinat Mare in Luxor's west bank, consists of a court and a burial chamber and is well known for the colorful and detailed paintings that adorn the walls of the tomb. Although it's a small tomb, it has distinguished wall paintings. Ali Asafar, head of Central Administration of Upper Egypt, told the Amran online. The images depict figures painted in Nubian attire, walking behind a chariot driven by a light brown figure, a black rider painted in traditional Nubian garb, and pulled by a cow, with a blonde-haired girl leading the cow. Walking before the chariot are more Nubian figures, writes Amran online. Hunting scenes familiar to those found in Tutankhamun's tomb are also depicted on the walls, as well as scenes showing Huy being greeted by high priests and among his family. Wish they had more pictures in here, but I think they want you to go look at it. The Tomb of Huy has undergone 3 years of restoration work and will be open to the public in mid-December. So I think they're trying to intrigue people into coming up and looking at it more. You know, whenever you go, just like I did, whenever you go there, you quite often will spend at least your first trip really at Cairo and around the Great Pyramids and may not even go other places. Your second, you might stray out a little bit. I think they're trying to get that straying out a little bit and have people witness many other parts of Egypt, for there are nomes that go up the river there. And there's a lot of places that contain a lot of these tombs and things that you can see. But if you know, everybody wants to go to Luxor, Aswan, Cairo. So this is going to be like side trips pretty much, where people are going to go, well, you can go here and here and there. We'll fit it right in. I think that's a good idea too, to expand it in the way that we're talking about. Anyhow, so this is Huy, ruler of Kush, and so this explains who the rulers of the 25th dynasty of Egypt were. Now you can just simply wiki Viceroys of Kush, and it will give you the entire list. A lot of times they'll give you pictures and things that go along with it. I did a video on this about 2 years ago now, whenever people kept mouthing off about who Kushites were. Like, share, and subscribe, and enjoy, and we'll get on to the next one. Peace.